Well, good morning. Can I say it? Beautiful morning in Sydney. Going to be about 26 degrees today, so that's really great. I've been attaching some of the parts that will complete the rear end, and today we're going to do the front end. With regards to the fuel tank, I'm still waiting for some parts to arrive. So not much longer to wait, hopefully. We are in strict COVID lockdown, so it's getting more difficult to get around anywhere and do anything. So it just tends to slow you down quite a bit when you can't even now go to the local hardware shop and just get a screw or something like that, or a can of paint. Alright, without any further ado, let's just take a walk around, have a look and see what we've done, and see what's to do. Okay, so let's do that. Right, not sure how much you've seen of that. You can see there the shockies for the rear end are in, and at the front end I've also done the front shockies as well. Also, the steering box is in, okay, as you can see there. Again, there really wasn't much to film. I actually serviced this, picked it up second hand. It was in horrible condition. I had the left hand drive, I had to convert back to right hand drive. Okay, that's the idler. The idler was, I had a left hand drive unit idler. This of course is the right hand drive, which is on the left hand side, and you can buy the body from AH Spares and then just pull the parts out and stick them in the body. So AH Spares sells the body to convert back to right hand idlers because they're impossible to buy otherwise. And you can see there, that shocky there, they're all in place. Just a couple of bolts missing, which I've ordered, so they're on their way. So steering box, that's in place. Okay, the shockies, the front ones are in place. Okay, just one bolt missing somewhere, I think in the back side of that, or here, actually there at the front. And so I'm waiting for that to arrive. So this takes me back over to here on my little workbench here, and this is the right hand side front end. Okay, what I did with the brake shoes was they're all been cleaned up. Just make sure you can see that. I've actually got sunshade over us and outside, and I've from AH Spares again just got shoes, okay, and re-riveted those in. So that's done with as you can see, copper rivets, and this is just an undercoat which I'm going to leave as is. So it's just a primer undercoat. The only thing with the rivets is you know, make sure that they're fully home. Okay, so keep like a bucket bar, if you like, a small punch on that side to keep them in, and then that side there is punched out with a punch large enough to actually drive the outer edges out and around. Okay, so that's all I've done there. So that then means that I could assemble. That means that I could assemble this fellow. Okay, and then. So this has all been reworked. All the back kingpin area has been reworked, and the only thing I've done, you know, over the last few days is just give it another coat of paint. So I'll take you to the other side of this. Jolly heavy. So rubber bumper, the plate, and all the kingpin drive areas and so on. And I've re-greased all that as well. The brake lines are in, okay, as you can see here. So that's all virtually the original, and just cleaned up and Now I did this actually quite some time ago, and so the only thing it really needed was just a surface clean and some paint. The only really important issue or significant issue that I had with that was the springs. The Moss manual just shows springs generally, and there's springs for about 4 different types. Okay, so if I just take you off that stand for a second, and you can see there it just shows there springs in general, and which are item 16, and which is down here. So they're for almost every model, which doesn't help much on I mean, you might get the right ones that you need, but the picture doesn't really show you what you get. So what I've done is I've had to revert to the actual manual and to try and remember what springs I had. And most of you guys won't have that issue because chances are you've got it all there and ready to go. But if you go and pull these things apart and then try and come back to it quite some time later, you're going to have to try and remember where the springs are to start with. So these are the springs. Okay, so and luckily, you know, opening the manual there, you can see it there and how they're positioned there. So all very important. Okay, so it's terribly important to make sure you've got the right springs on it, and not to be confused with the springs for the rear. Okay, because they've got a bunch of springs as well. So very, very important to make sure you've got the right ones. So again, as you can see there, this is the right side, so it connects to the plate and then to the shoe, plate and shoe, okay, and they're opposite ends and so on. Now the only thing I'd hope is that the drum, that's just had a coat of chrome paint. Okay, and even that's an issue to find a decent chrome paint that's not going to mark, but chances are when I'm done with this I'm going to have to give it another coat as well anyway, because it just doesn't hang very well, that paint, but it looks good. Okay, and then the coil spring. So today's exercise is just to try and get this end fitted. I don't know if it's going to be hard or easy. So let's go and have a go at it. The only thing I could recommend that you do is make sure that all these bolts and screws and that fit before you actually do the fitment, because it's important that the holes be nice and clean and ready to accept. The last thing you want to do is have to bash this and that while you're actually trying to hold something and assemble it. So this one here I've already drilled out because there was paint and just a bit of muck just covering that. So let's have a look at all that. This one's still to do, so let's just have a go at that. So I'll just set up over this end and we'll see how we go. Okay, so what I'm saying is to make sure that these special bolts, I can't remember their name at the moment, the proper name, but to make sure that they fit, and as I said, and of course it doesn't. Then also on the back side to make sure that they fit, which they do, and the same with the one at the back. Okay, so let's just give that a clean. And that's about 5/8, which I think is around 16 millimeters. That's all. And so it was just a bit of filler and a bit of paint. Okay, so, and then the other side as well. And that one doesn't fit either, so we'll see if we can get in to clean that out. Okay, so I've just put the steering linkages on, but they're nowhere near adjusted to where they should be. I'm waiting for anti-seize grease to arrive as well. So I had quite a bit of trouble fitting the top link pin, and the bottom ones you probably saw in the earlier part of the video, so they were quite troublesome. I had to loosen the shock absorber, that's what the book says, just loosen it right off, and then open it up as much as I could, then align this portion here of the shock absorber, and then tighten it all down. So as far as I can tell, the plates here just fit. They're a little bit, the screw holes are a little bit on the tight side, but I think that'll be okay. I'm not going to put the spring in just yet. I'll save that. What I wanted to do was put the brake drum on, put a wheel on, and put a knockoff on, just so I can say that after all this time, Mummy, look what I've got, you know, sort of thing. Anyway, so that's let's go and do that. I'll put you back on the stand and we'll see how we go. Okay, so brake drum time. Just a little bit of movement is these linkages aren't located right down hard. Okay, and I just wanted it to sit there for the moment. Okay, well that went a bit easier than I thought. You can feel the shoes on it. They're at the lower setting because they are brand new, so they need to wear in a little bit. So anyway, that's that. Now okay, let's have a little walk around. Now that's sitting up on there on the block 2 inches as per the instructions. Now if I had to say, I'd say my, I don't know, my camber looks distinct. I have to do some homework on that. Anyway, that's one side done pretty much. Okay. It took some doing. This was probably I'd say about a 3-hour job just to put that one on, because it was just so awkward and difficult just to get those rubber bushes in and so on. So that's it. Alright, and did you notice I've got 72 spoke wheels? I just seem to like them. They shine more in the sunlight. So I was a bit naughty there. Okay, that's it.